Hey everybody, it's Michael from Wahoo Comics here with another haul and speculation video. I've got a bunch of books I'm looking forward to showing you, and some of these I've had on a checklist for a long time, and I'm so excited to finally have them. And the first few books are ones that are just filled with childhood nostalgia for me, and we'll get right to it by showing you this one. G.I. Joe #1. Some of you know I love G.I. Joe. I've been picking up a lot of G.I. Joe keys over the past year. Recently picked up the first appearance of Storm Shadow. This book contains the first appearance of my other favorite character from that franchise, Snake Eyes, of course, who has a movie coming up. And it contains lots of other first appearances too. Cobra Commander, Baroness, Hawk, Scarlet, and many others. This is a great book to have in your collection. And I played with G.I. Joe as a kid so much, and I'm so excited to finally have this book. And the second book is just as exciting, and it's this one, Star Wars #1. This also contains a lot of first appearances. So the first appearance of Darth Vader, of Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, C-3PO, R2-D2, Grand Moff Tarkin and the Stormtroopers. And again, just another beautiful book to have in any collection. As you know, I've been picking up Star Wars keys as well over the past year. And so it's super exciting to have the keys of the two franchises that I love so much, G.I. Joe and Star Wars. Another book filled with childhood nostalgia is this one, Masters of the Universe #1. And this isn't the first appearance of these characters, but it's their first appearance in a Marvel comic book. So DC actually had, I guess, the licensing rights to these characters first, and He-Man was introduced in DC Comics Presents 40-something, I think 47, and then had a short-lived series there at DC before then the licensing moved over to Marvel. But I'm still very excited to have this book. I've actually picked up a few copies of this book this year, and another great one to add to any collection. All right, moving on from those childhood franchises that I loved so much as a kid, got some other great books that are mainstream Marvel books, but good ones to own. First of all, this one, She-Hulk #1. This is the first appearance of the She-Hulk, and I think is a great book to pick up now. This is a franchise that's going to have its own Disney Plus series next year, and so this book has already been climbing in value, but I think it's still going to climb and climb. Speaking of which, another one, similarly, is this one, Moon Knight #1. I picked up a copy of this, or a few copies actually, already this year, and I'm still buying them whenever I can. Moon Knight's also going to have his own series, and though this isn't his first appearance, that's in Werewolf by Night #32. It's his first solo title, and so again, a great book to have in any collection. And then another book that I've picked up a couple of times this year, Wolverine #1. And all these are really high-grade copies, and I am so happy to have them. And one more from the seller I got these from. I got these all from the same seller, and I'll explain that story in just a minute. Is a DC comic, so the only DC one I picked up, Suicide Squad #1. And you've probably all seen the trailers. There's a Suicide Squad movie coming out pretty soon, and it looks hilarious. And I think it's going to revitalize this franchise, and I think this book is a good investment right now. As you might know, James Gunn, who directed Guardians of the Galaxy, is going to be directing, or has directed this movie, and so I think it's one that's going to, this book's going to climb in value. So you might be wondering, how did I pick up so many cool books in such a short time? Well, I mentioned I was able to get them all from one seller, and it's a pretty cool story. So a few months ago, I met this seller online. He had a Spider-Woman #1 listed for sale at a very good price. And so I reached out to him and I offered to buy it, and I did end up buying it. And then I asked him, hey, do you have any other comics that you're looking to sell? And he said, well, yes, I do. And so he sent me a list, And he specializes in kind of collecting a lot of number ones of issues. As you can tell, all these were number ones. And he had so many, there's no way I could afford them all at just that one time. But he made a great offer to me. He said, hey, if you pick out which issues you're interested in, I'll pull them to the side, and then I'll lock in the price, and you can just pay me whatever you can each month. And then we agreed every quarter, then I would put in an order from what I had paid in. And so this is the first quarterly order I've gotten in, and I've got several more quarters worth of books that I'll be buying from him over the coming months and maybe even years. But it was so exciting, so cool. I'm so thankful for him for making that offer. Otherwise, I would never have some of these books probably. And so it's wonderful. And a funny story, right after I submitted the list and we agreed, okay, these are the books that are going to be pulled aside and here the prices are, he sent me an email maybe 3 or 4 days later, within a week. And the subject of the email was G.I. Joe #1. And so I opened the email and I started reading, and the first few sentences was, hey, something like this. I noticed G.I. Joe 9.8, a graded one, newsstand, which of course is always going to be a premium over a raw direct edition copy. But so I saw that it went for $3,000 on eBay, and so I had mixed feelings as I read that first sentence. I was like, oh man, yes, this value, this book is a good investment. It is going up. But then on the flip side, I was like, oh man, is he gonna? The next sentence is gonna say that, hey, I know we made this deal, but I really can't let it go at the price that I agreed to. But thankfully, he was a man of his word and was actually happy for me from what he said. And it's like, hey, great pick. Already getting your investments off to a good start. And so I'm just really thankful to him for sticking to what he had said he was going to do. And of course, definitely, he's earned my business and my dollars, and look forward about 3 months from now showing off the next order that I got from him. So those are some of the books I picked up recently. Before I sign off, a couple other things. First of all, I always want to show off a sleeper of the week. And here is a book that I have been picking up whenever I could find it for $1 or $2, which I found many times over the past 3 or 4 months. And this is An Incredible Hulk 419. And this is the first full appearance and cover appearance of Talos the Untamed, who had a big role in the Captain Marvel movie and who is set to have a big role in the upcoming Secret Invasion series. And if you saw the latest Spider-Man 2 years ago now, for a while, we don't know how long, he's been impersonating Nick Fury, helping out with S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's set to have a big part in that series. Now, 418, he has a cameo appearance, and that one's actually going for more money now. And so that's why I think this one is really underlooked. In 418, I think it's just kind of right at the end, he pops up. And of course, we've talked about there's big controversies in the comic book realm over what's a real first appearance. But this is clearly his first full appearance in a real story, and definitely his first cover. And so even if 418 maintains the greatest value, which I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised to see this one pass it at some point, I still think this is a great pickup. And once that series comes out, will go up in value. All right, and second thing, my question of the week for you. So of course I showed off a few comic books at the beginning from franchises I loved as a kid: Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, Star Wars. I want to hear from you. What is your favorite franchise from your childhood who later had a comic book but not part of the mainstream Marvel or DC universe? This kind of, especially maybe 80s or even 90s or later franchises that you loved. Could be one of the ones I showed you. Could be Transformers, Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers a little later. What was your favorite? Mine is definitely G.I. Joe. I played with G.I. Joes so much as a kid, watched their cartoons so much as a kid, and so again, it is so exciting to have that issue for myself. But you tell me, what is your favorite franchise? And comment with anything else you'd like to say about any of the issues you saw me pick up, or about some issues you've picked up lately, or ones that you think I need to be on the lookout. As I've mentioned, I really take your advice really closely too, and it's helped me find a couple of cool books to pick up. All right, well, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, of course, I'd appreciate if you do that and give it a like and a comment. All right, until the next time.